When EA announced that they were doing a remake to the cult classic survival horror game Dead Space, I was very happy and surprised since EA once said that single player games are dead.
Do you have a question, Kelly?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
But now we're a few years later, and after the massive failures that were Star Wars, Battlefront and Evolve, EA has seen the error of their ways and now they're back to making single player games, like the beloved Star Wars Jedi franchise, and now this Dead Space remake. Except, like I said, this is a remake, not a whole new game, and I think that sometimes us gamers can get given these remakes and think all they did was slap on some high resolution graphics and called it a day and charge us full price.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. Intel has told us there are at least 7.
Okay, I already see one, give him.
They're the same picture.
However, the Dead Space remake devs have promised us that this will be much more than better graphics. They have promised us that they are improving the way the story is told, they're enhancing the gameplay, and upgrading the level design. But did they deliver that? Let's get into my review.
Our homecoming will be truly divine.
There's still a way out for us. But we don't have much time.
What's up guys, welcome to That Freaking Geek, and I was given this awesome opportunity to play and review the Dead Space remake thanks to EA, and I have to say straight up, I am blown away by what EA have managed to do in this already amazing game. In this review I'll be talking about how they managed to improve the classic 2008 game, a game that still holds incredibly well, turned it into what I think is the ultimate way to play this game, starting off with how they've improved the story. The main story of Dead Space is still very much the same thing that drove the 2008 video game, except now they have rewritten it in a way that makes all the twists and turns in the game even more exciting. You play as Isaac, an engineer who thought he was just on another routine spaceship repair assignment, but when you get there, well, everything is clearly not okay. To make things more intense for him, his girlfriend also just happens to be on the ship. But you know all this. What makes it different from the original is that Isaac is no longer a mute protagonist. No, instead, like in the Dead Space sequels, he is fully voiced and consistently interacting with his peers. This means a lot of the dialogue had to be rewritten so that Isaac isn't just always being told what to do and actually has character arc through the game. It allows you to understand more the emotional rollercoaster of a ride he is going through with all the messed up stuff that he sees and goes through in the nightmare of a repair job. There's also more depth about how the story was told. I will go into detail about how exactly they do that because this is something you should experience for yourself. The writers have taken a lot of small details that were in the original and built upon them in new ways so that the big story reveals punch even harder than they would have. And talking about punching harder, let's talk about the gameplay. Since the crew on the spaceship have turned into mutated alien monsters, Isaac has to go from engineer to warrior using his tools and equipment to defeat these horrific creatures. Hands down, the best thing about this remake is how much they have enhanced the gameplay whilst also making it feel like it did in 2008. Survivor horror is my favorite video game genre and they have nailed the intense action that the genre is known for. The weapons are also fun to use, not only in the way they feel but also how the enemies react to them. Weapons like the classic plasma cutter is a joy to use as you slice through your enemies' limbs, effectively killing them. The gore goes to the next level with the force gun that rips the skin off their bones. But then you get my personal favorite, the Ripper, which shoots discs that rips apart any enemies that dare jump out the walls. This remake really works hard at making all the weapons feel fantastic. The action gets even more extreme with the new zero gravity areas. Instead of Isaac of just, sticking to the surfaces, you are now able to fly around these areas, bringing a verticality to the gameplay. When the enemies are coming at you from every direction, I was finding myself disorientated as you would if you were in the same situation in real life, making these experiences feel surreal and it made my heart pound. Resources are collected either by finding them or stomping on the enemies. These are to keep your health in check and upgrade your suit and armor. But now there are security blocks, which is a nice incentive to go back to previous eras when you get higher levels of clearances. And sometimes you do go back, which is one of the worst things about the level design in the original. But let's talk about how they've improved the level design in the remake. When talking about the remake's levels, the first thing that needs to be said is, oh my word, this game looks gorgeous. Yes, because the details they have added is really good, but more impressively in the stunning lighting and dynamic fog effects. Together with the terrifying sounds, the ship oozes with atmosphere that terrorizes you around every corner. They have made the level design far more organic than the repetitive back and forth in the tram car and the original. Those anti-gravity moments I was talking about earlier not only makes these missions far more engaging, but there are also new moments entirely made for this remake to take you to the next area, which is far more interesting than what the tram car did. It's still there, the tram car, but now it's used for fast travel points when you need to go back. The environmental storytelling is in full force too. Now that we have high resolution graphics, all the writings on the wall that couldn't be seen before, you can see. And so it makes for far more captivating corridors and what feels like a horror house extravaganza. And it's not just the main story too, there are also side quests, and so for returning players, let's just say you haven't seen everything this spaceship has to offer. That's a great way to actually end this review. This remake proves that you can not only enjoy the classic game but with better visuals and gameplay, but sometimes the dev can take it to the next level and give us even more from the same beloved game. This is how remakes are meant to be done. It's meant to give us so much more so that the joy ride is even more satisfying experience. And so if you're a returning player, you're in for an absolute treat when you play this game. But for the newcomers, you're truly the ones that are winning big with this remake. You get to experience the classic for the first time, but with modern graphics and refined gameplay. Something many fans they would kill to experience this game for the first time again. This is a solid 9 out of 10 game for me. It's a home run for EA, and I hope they do it again with Dead Space 2. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Get subscribed if you did. It would be an honor to have you. That's it from me. Cheers.